Lena Ward walked through the great hall of the Intergalactic Museum with quiet steps. The place was huge, bright, and filled with many alien visitors. They came from different worlds, speaking in voices that echoed across the metal floors. Lena was the only human in the hall, but she did not mind. She came here for one reason: the ancient armor displayed inside a tall crystal case. The armor belonged to a long-gone species called the Vorakin. Aliens said the Vorakin were the smartest builders in history. Their machines were perfect. Their technology was impossible to understand. Even now, thousands of years later, no one could copy it. That was why the armor was kept under heavy protection. No one, not even the smartest alien engineers, had ever unlocked its secrets. Lena stopped in front of the case and stared at the armor. It had smooth silver plates and soft glowing lines that looked almost alive. To her, it felt familiar, like she had seen something similar before. She slowly raised her hand and placed it against the crystal barrier. When she touched the case, a few aliens nearby turned and laughed. One tall, blue-skinned creature shook his head and said, "Humans always try to act brave. Do you think you understand that armor?" Another alien added, "Maybe she believes she is worthy of it. That is cute." More visitors began to notice the scene. They stared at Lena with amused smiles. Some whispered, some pointed, and some shook their heads as if she had done something foolish. Lena stayed calm. She did not look embarrassed. She looked thoughtful. She ran her hand over the crystal and said softly, "This design, it really is mine." The aliens around her burst into louder laughter. Even one of the museum guards chuckled. "Your design," he said. "Human, that armor is older than your entire species." But Lena did not step back. Instead, she spoke louder this time. "I made it." The hall went silent for a moment. Every alien in the area turned toward her. Their eyes widened. Their expressions changed from amusement to disbelief. "What did you say?" the guard asked. Lena took a deep breath. She kept her voice steady. "I said I made it. Not this exact armor, but the technology behind it. I recognize the structure. I know the energy pattern. I built something very similar on Earth." Whispers filled the hall again, but this time they were sharper. Some aliens frowned. Some leaned in closer. A few backed away like she had said something dangerous. "You are joking," an alien scientist said. "Humans cannot create Vorakin technology." "I didn't know it was Vorakin," Lena replied. "I only followed the signals I discovered. The pattern told me how to build it." The guard folded his arms. "What signals?" Lena looked at the armor again. The glowing line seemed to pulse slightly. She felt something like recognition coming from it. "Deep space signals," she said. "Old ones. Very old ones. I studied them for years. My work led me to this design." The scientist scoffed. "Impossible." "Then let me prove it," Lena said. The crowd gasped. A few aliens whispered urgently to the guard. The museum was not a place where visitors made bold claims, especially not humans, and definitely not claims about ancient relics. But Lena stood straight. She did not look afraid or unsure. She looked like someone who knew exactly what she was talking about. The guard sighed and pointed toward a side door. "If you have proof, human, you will bring it to the testing room. But if this is a joke..." "It's not," Lena said quickly. "I promise." "You had better hope so," the guard muttered, "because the museum does not take false claims lightly." The crowd followed her with their eyes as Lena walked with the guard toward the secure wing of the museum. The laughter had completely stopped. Now there was only silence, curiosity, and a hint of fear. Some aliens whispered, "What if she is telling the truth?" Others whispered, "What if a human really built something like the Vorakin?" Lena heard the whispers, but she kept moving. She felt nervous, but she also felt excited. She had waited years for someone to see her work. She never expected it would happen here, in front of aliens who thought humans were simple and weak. But now she had a chance to show them her truth. And the armor, the ancient, silent relic, seemed to glow a little brighter, as if it was waiting for her too. Lena stepped into the secure chamber, ready to prove what everyone believed was impossible. Lena stood in the quiet testing chamber while several museum scientists gathered around her. Their eyes were sharp, suspicious, and full of doubt. The room was cold, with white lights shining down on metal tables and scanning machines. In the center of the room, projected in a soft blue glow, was a hologram of the ancient Vorkin armor. The scientist in charge, a tall, green-skinned scholar named Dr. Saren, crossed his arms. "Human, you said you can prove you understand this armor. Show us." Lena nodded and opened the small bag she had carried. Inside were thin metal pieces, glowing wires, and a round device shaped almost like a heart. She placed the device on the table. The aliens leaned in, surprised. "What is that?" one of them asked. "A prototype," Lena said. "I built it on Earth. It uses the same energy pattern as the armor. I didn't know the pattern came from an ancient species." Dr. Saren narrowed his eyes. "You expect us to believe a human made this? Alone?" "Yes," Lena answered softly. The aliens whispered to each other. Some looked confused, others offended. Humans were not known for high-level engineering. Most aliens believed humans were still new to advanced science. "Activate it," Dr. Saren said. Lena carefully pressed her fingers along the round device. She tapped 3 spots and then rotated the outer ring. The device lit up with a soft silver glow, the same glow seen in the ancient armor. The aliens froze. One whispered, "That light, it's identical." Another said, "But how?" "No modern species can recreate that energy." Lena didn't look up. She was focused. She adjusted one wire and the device lifted slowly into the air, floating above the table. The swirling lines lit up brighter, forming a small energy shield around itself. The room fell silent. Even Dr. Saren's mouth opened slightly. "This is impossible," he whispered. Lena finally looked at them. "I told you, the signals I studied were old. They taught me how to build this. I didn't know anyone else had made something similar before. But you said you made the armor." One alien reminded her. Lena pointed to the hologram. "Not this armor, but look at the patterns." She moved closer and used the controls to zoom in on the glowing lines on the ancient armor. Then she pulled out a small tablet from her bag and showed them her design diagrams. The lines were almost the same. Same curves, same connections, same energy flow. The aliens gasped. Dr. Saren stepped forward quickly. These designs match perfectly." He stared at Lena. "But how can a human create technology lost for thousands of years?" "I don't know," Lena admitted. "I only know the signals told me how. Maybe I answered them the right way. Maybe they were waiting for someone." One scientist spoke up, his voice nervous. "You must be tested further. The Imperial Palace will need to know." At the mention of the palace, the room shifted. Every alien grew tense. The Vorkin armor was considered sacred technology. Anyone who claimed knowledge of it had to be reported. But if they were lying, the punishment was severe. Dr. Saren gave Lena a long, deep look. "If you are telling the truth, human Lena, you have done something no living species has done. And if I'm lying?" Lena asked quietly. Dr. Saren's voice became cold. "Then you will face charges far worse than arrest." Lena felt a small chill run through her, but she did not step back. "I understand." Dr. Saren touched his wrist device and sent a message. "We will run one last test. If the armor reacts to your device, then your claim will be proven." 2 guards entered and, with great care, brought a small fragment of the real Vorkin armor into the room. The fragment was placed on a pedestal next to Lena's floating device. Every alien in the room took a step back. "Activate your prototype again," Dr. Saren said quietly. Lena swallowed but nodded. She placed her hand above the device. The silver glow brightened. The armor fragment began to vibrate. Several aliens gasped and stumbled backward. The fragment's glowing lines, dead for thousands of years, sparked with life. Soft light ran through it like quiet lightning. It pulsed slowly, as if waking up. Dr. Saren's eyes widened so much they almost glowed. The armor is responding to her. The other scientists panicked. Some reached for scanners. Others froze in shock. No one in history had ever made the armor react. The floating prototype spun gently, sending a soft hum through the chamber. The The fragment hummed back. "They're sinking," Lena said softly. "And you did this," Dr. Saren whispered. "A human did this." Guards rushed into the room, alerted by alarms triggered automatically. When they saw the glowing armor fragment, they stopped in fear. Dr. Saren stepped forward and spoke with a trembling voice. "Human Lena Ward has achieved the impossible. She must be taken to the Emperor at once." Lena stared at the glowing fragment and her glowing device. For the first time, she felt the weight of what she had done. The entire galaxy had just changed because of her. Lena sat in the bright shuttle as it carried her toward the Imperial Palace. The guards around her stayed silent, but their eyes were full of fear and curiosity. They did not treat her like a criminal. They treated her like something dangerous and important at the same time. The small silver device she had built rested in a container beside her. Even now it glowed softly, as if waiting for something. When the palace came into view, Lena felt her breath catch. The building was huge and shaped like a rising sun. Long silver towers reached into the sky, and golden bridges connected them like threads of light. Alien citizens filled the walkways below, unaware of the strange human who might change everything. The shuttle landed quietly, and Lena was led inside by 2 guards. They walked through long halls made of smooth stone that shone like crystal. Everywhere she looked, she saw symbols, the same lines and curves she had seen in the armor designs. She whispered to herself, "It's all the same pattern, why?" A tall palace official with 4 silver eyes approached her. He bowed slightly. "Human Lena Ward, the Emperor wishes to speak with you. But first, you must meet someone who knows the armor better than anyone alive." Lena followed him through a pair of tall doors. Inside was a circular room filled with holograms of armor pieces, old texts, and strange glowing particles floating in the air. At the center stood an older alien with dark blue skin and long white markings that curled down her arms like paint. The woman turned when Lena entered. Her eyes were sharp but tired. "So," she said softly, "you are the human who woke the armor." Lena nodded, unsure how to act. "I didn't mean to cause trouble." The woman gave a small smile. "Trouble is not always bad. My name is Archivist Yara. For 50 years, I have studied the Vorkin armor. No one has ever activated even a single fragment. Until you..." Yara motioned for Lena to come closer. On a table lay the armor fragment that had reacted to Lena earlier. It still held a faint glow. Yara touched the fragment gently. "Do you know the truth of this armor?" Lena shook her head. "Only what the museum said. It belonged to an ancient warrior species, and no one knows how they built it. That," Yara said, "is only half a truth." She pressed her hand to a console. A large hologram rose, showing a tall armored figure standing proudly. The armor was the same shape as the fragment, but the figure inside it. Lena blinked in shock. That looks humanoid." "Yes," Yara said. "The Vorkin were built in the shape of humans." Lena stepped closer. "But humans didn't leave Earth until recently. That is why this mystery has never been solved," Yara said. "Every species assumed the Vorkin were simply humanoid aliens. But their bone structure, their hands, even their voice range, it matches humans more closely than any other known race." Lena felt a chill. "Are you saying the ancient species were humans?" "Not humans," Yara corrected, "but something very close. A precursor species. One that vanished long before the first known empires rose." Lena's hands shook. "And the armor responds to my device because you carry the same instincts they did," Yara said. "Your design is not copied from their armor. It is shaped by the same kind of mind." Lena stared at her device. She had always felt that building things came easy to her, like breathing. Yara continued. "The pattern you followed, the energy lines you drew, these are part of design language older than any empire. It is possible your ancestors kept fragments of it. Instincts, ideas, ways of thinking, lost in history, but still living inside you." Lena felt dizzy, but in a strange, excited way. "So humans are connected to this ancient species?" Yara nodded. "More than you know. The Emperor believes the Vorkin did not die. He believes they hid something in their armor. A message. And since you can activate it, you may be able to reveal it. Lena looked at the fragment again. The soft light moved like it was alive. What if the message isn't meant for me? Lena asked quietly, what if it's meant for everyone? Yara shook her head. The armor did not respond to everyone. It responded to you. That means the message begins with you. Before Lena could say anything, a deep voice echoed through the room. Bring her to me? The Emperor had arrived. The guard straightened instantly. Yara lowered her head. Lena turned slowly and saw the Emperor standing in the doorway, tall and calm, wearing a cloak of bright gold threads that shimmered with every movement. His eyes focused on Lena with unexpected gentleness. You have touched the legacy of a forgotten race, he said. Now you must learn what that legacy means. Lena swallowed hard. She felt the weight of something ancient and powerful settle on her shoulders. The truth of the armor was far bigger than she had ever imagined, and she was standing right at the center of it. The Emperor led Lena into a great hall filled with tall banners and glowing crystal pillars. Every seat in the room was already taken. Leaders from many alien species sat in silence, waiting for something important. The moment Lena stepped inside, a wave of whispers moved through the crowd. That is a human child? She touched the armor? She activated Vorakin technology? Lena felt small under all the stares. She held her device tightly in her hands, trying to calm her shaking fingers. The Emperor walked beside her, calm and steady, as if he carried no fear at all. In the center of the hall was a large round platform. On it lay the full Vorakin armor, now fully assembled from parts gathered across the galaxy. It stood like a statue, waiting for breath. The fragments glowed softly, reacting to Lena even from a distance. The Emperor raised his voice. Today, he said, we seek the truth. For thousands of years, this armor has remained silent. But a human, this young human, has awakened it. And now, the galaxy must witness what happens next. The room quieted instantly. Lena stepped onto the platform. Her device vibrated in her palm, as if calling to the armor. She looked at the huge crowd watching her. Her heart raced, but something inside her felt steady. Something old. She touched the device to the center of the armor's chest plate. A pulse of blue light spread across the entire hall. Gasps filled the room. Lines of ancient symbols lit up on the armor. The glow moved like flowing water, chasing itself across every surface. The armor lifted slightly off the ground, floating in the air. A soft humming sound began, low and powerful, like a giant machine waking up after a long sleep. The armor opened, not like a door, like a flower unfolding. A bright core of light shone inside it. Holograms shot into the air around the platform. They showed stars, maps, strange planets that none of the aliens recognized. Then came images of tall humanoid figures, like humans but older, sharper, brighter. They walked among stars, building great structures and guiding new civilizations. The entire hall was silent. The armor projected a message in a warm, echoing voice. No one knew the language, yet everyone understood it. The message did not speak to the galaxy. It spoke to Lena. You carry our pattern. You think as we thought. You build as we built. Our legacy is not lost. It lives in you. Lena's eyes widened. Her breath caught. The hologram showed a long timeline. At the very end, a symbol appeared, a human handprint. Then the voice spoke again. When another mind reflects ours, our world shall rise again. The hologram vanished. The armor dimmed and lowered back to the platform. The entire hall erupted. Leaders shouted, argued, pointed at Lena. Some were afraid. Others were excited. A few were angry. The Emperor raised a hand and silenced them with one motion. The truth is clear, he said. Humans carry the legacy of an ancient species. That means they are not a weak race. They are heirs to knowledge older than our oldest worlds. One of the alien ambassadors stood, furious. This changes everything. For years, humans were treated as a minor species, a simple species. And now you claim they are part of the Vorakin legacy? Impossible. Another ambassador shouted. If she awakened the armor, then humans must have access to hidden technology. That is dangerous. The Emperor answered calmly. Danger does not come from knowledge. It comes from fear. The hall grew louder as arguments spread. Some demanded protection for Lena. Others demanded she be studied. A few wanted humans invited into high councils. A few wanted the opposite, to restrict them before they became powerful. Lena watched all of it with wide eyes. She did not want to change the galaxy. She only liked building useful things. She only wanted to help people. But now everyone looked at her like she was holding a key that could open the universe. Yara stepped beside her and whispered, "This is a galactic upset. Truth always shakes the world." The Emperor turned to Lena. His golden cloak shimmered softly. "You did not choose this," he said gently, "but the legacy chose you. Now many worlds will want answers." Lena swallowed hard. "I don't have answers. I don't even understand everything." "You will," the Emperor said, "but right now you must choose one thing." She looked up at him. "Choose what?" He pointed to the armor behind her. "Will you accept the legacy that responds to you, or will you walk away from it?" The hall went absolutely silent. Every eye was on the human girl. Every future depended on her next words. Lena stood on the platform with the ancient armor glowing softly behind her. The whole hall waited, silent and tense. Leaders from dozens of species leaned forward, watching the small human girl, who now held the attention of the galaxy. She felt their eyes like weight on her shoulders, but she also felt something warm and steady inside her. She looked at the Emperor. He gave her a slow nod, not pushing her, not guiding her, only supporting her. Then she looked back at the arguing crowd and took a small breath. "I accept," she said quietly. Her voice was soft, but somehow it carried through the entire room. The armor lit up again, a gentle blue wave passing over it, like a sign of approval. The crowd gasped. Some cheered. Others shouted in fear. But none of them looked away. Lena added, "But I will not use this to control anyone. I only want to build things that help people." For a moment, the room was completely still. Then the Emperor stepped forward. "Then it is decided," he said. "A new age begins. The age of makers." His words echoed across the hall. But not everyone agreed. The ambassador of the Draxons stood up, slamming his hand on the railing. "A child claims the greatest technology in the galaxy," he shouted. "This is madness. Humans are not ready." Another leader, a soft-voiced creature with wings, joined him. This could bring imbalance. Wars might start. Power might shift. Yara, who had been standing behind Lena, stepped forward boldly. "She is a maker," she said. "You all saw the armor respond to her. None of you could even activate a single fragment. But that gave her too much power," a reptile-like senator hissed. Lena shook her head quickly. "I don't want power. I want partners." That sentence changed everything. The room went silent again. Lena continued speaking, her voice small but certain. "If the old makers left us something, maybe they wanted many species to learn from it. Not just humans. Not just one empire. Everyone." The Emperor smiled with pride. "Wisely spoken." Lena pointed at the armor behind her. "I can't use this alone. I don't understand everything about it, but I can share what I learn. I can teach. I can work with anyone who wants to build, fix, and make things better." The angry leaders slowly quieted. Even the loudest critics fell silent, unsure how to argue with a child who wasn't seeking control, only cooperation. The soft-winged ambassador tilted her head. "You would teach us? Even us elders, who have ruled for centuries?" Lena nodded shyly. "Yes, if you want to learn." A deep, rumbling laugh filled the room. It came from the stone-skinned commander of the Vargos. "The little human has more wisdom than all of us," he boomed. "She offers friendship when most of us only think of threats." Another ambassador rose. "Then let us test this idea. If she truly wishes to lead by helping, let her form a council, a place where all species share knowledge." A spark lit in Lena's eyes. "A Maker's Alliance?" "A Maker's Alliance," the Emperor agreed, "with humans as founding members." The words hit the room like a shockwave. For the first time in history, humans, once considered a small, unimportant species, were being offered a place of honor among the stars. The Draxan ambassador looked as if he wanted to resist, but he lowered his head. If this stops conflict, then we must agree. One by one, the other leaders gave their approval. Yara squeezed Lena's shoulder. "You did it," she whispered. "I think we all did," Lena said softly. The Emperor raised his voice. "Let it be known throughout the galaxy," he declared, "that from this day forward, the Makers' Alliance is formed. Knowledge will be shared. Technology will be built together. And no species will be left behind." Cheers erupted across the hall. The armor glowed again, brighter this time, as if it understood what had been decided. The pieces shifted slightly and sent out a series of soft lights that spiraled around Lena before fading into the air. It felt like a blessing, or a promise. Later, when the hall had emptied and the noise had faded, Lena stood alone with the Emperor and Yara. The armor rested quietly behind her, no longer glowing, but somehow still alive. The Emperor looked down at her. "The galaxy will remember this day," he said, "not because of ancient technology, not because of power, but because a young human understood something simple." "What's that?" Lena asked. "That the greatest strength is not in the armor," the Emperor said. "It is in how you choose to use it." Lena touched the device in her hand and smiled a little. "Then I guess we build from here." Yara's eyes shined. "Together?" "Together," Lena said. And so the Makers' Alliance was born, a bond between species, held together not by fear or power, but by a human girl who only wanted to help. A girl who made the galaxy believe again in creation, cooperation, and hope.